Hi everyone, my name is Gautam Gupta and I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Universal Fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to be talking about an important coming transit that's coming up, and that is Mars entering the sign of Aries from June 1st of 2024 until July 12th of 2024, and how this will affect all of us depending on what our ascendant and moon sign are. Now, this is going to be an important transit because Mars changes signs approximately every 6 weeks to 2 months when it's not retrograde. Now, whenever a planet changes signs, the energy related to that planet impacts our lives in different ways. And Mars is going to be extremely strong and active in the sign of Aries. Our drive, energy, and willpower will be very much alive at this time, and this is going to inspire us to accomplish so many of our goals. So use this energy for what it's good for. Now, before I begin this discussion, I do want to invite everyone to please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com, where you can learn more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer. You can also check out the various services that I offer, and I will be leaving links down below so you all can check that out in more detail. I also want to remind everyone that I do practice sidereal Vedic astrology and not Western tropical astrology. So with that being said, I will now begin discussing how Mars's transit in Aries will affect each ascendant and moon sign. So if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Aries, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your first house. And this is going to give you tremendous drive, ambition, and willpower. You will have an extraordinary amount of confidence during this transit, as this will alleviate a lot of the issues you've been dealing with when Rahu and Mars were in your 12th house this past month. So if there were any strenuous tasks that you've been avoiding or unable to do lately, then this transit will most definitely help you get things done in the most efficient and effective way possible. This is also a great transit for taking charge and initiative. If you're in a leadership position, then this is going to help you tremendously. People will take notice and cooperate with what you have to say, so make sure you effectively take advantage of this transit. Now, with Mars's fourth aspect to your fourth house, this is going to make you more protective and proactive when it comes to your domestic, real estate, and issues regarding your mother. You're going to be putting in extra efforts to make sure things around your home and loved ones are protected from any harm. Use this energy for what it's good for and realize that you will be able to do a great job when it comes to protecting your real estate, property, vehicles, and domestic issues. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your seventh house, this tells me that you are motivated and driven to take charge in your relationships. And while it is a good thing to take charge every now and then, it is important to have good intentions with this initiative, and you also need to be respectful towards your partner's needs. This will help strengthen your business and personal relationships. Then, with Mars' eighth aspect to your eighth house, this tells me that if there are any transformations you're going through, then you will have the utmost courage to overcome any obstacles that are thrown your way. For the most part, you are greatly protected from any mishaps because Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership, which is Scorpio in this case. This is also a great transit for gaining profound insights into any metaphysical subjects or psychology. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Taurus, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your 12th house of Aries. And this is going to make you feel more grounded about the things from your past. You will have the ability to deal with any past issues that have been haunting you with courage. Now, Mars in the 12th house in general tends to increase expenses. However, because it is transiting in its own Mudrakon sign, these expenses will be utilized for good cause. And this can actually inspire or motivate you to give to charity. Also, with Mars being in your 12th house, make sure you are getting enough proper sleep as there can be some minor disturbances. Try to avoid any major screen time before you sleep and keep your bedtime routine as simple and quiet as possible. Now, with Mars's fourth aspect to your third house, this can cause some temporary conflict related to your younger siblings. You will also have to be careful with your communication as you can be tempted to say things you shouldn't due to the heat of the moment. So please be mindful of that. However, because Mars is aspecting the third house from its Mutragon sign, I do believe you will have the abilities and resources to navigate these conflicting issues. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your sixth house, there can be some conflicts and disagreements in your workplace, but you'll have the courage to address any outstanding issues and resolve them with grace and dignity. This is also a time where you will need extra care and caution with your health and diet. Also, if you have pets, they could need some of your attention at this time. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your seventh house, this is going to cause some transformations and changes in your relationships with business partners or significant others. However, because it is aspecting its own sign of rulership, you will be protected from anything that's too negative. In fact, for some of you, this can bring a positive transformation that will change the way you view relationships in general. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Gemini, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your 11th house of Aries. And this is going to really enable you to get out there and meet as many people as you can. This is an excellent transit for social events as you can meet people who will help you in so many ways. This is also an excellent transit for bonding with male friends and siblings. You will find yourself very well supported by these individuals, so use this energy to accomplish your goals, wishes, and desires. You may also find ways to increase your source of income this month, which can be very beneficial for you financially. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your second house, this is going to motivate you to speak your truth constructively and assertively. Just make sure you're not being too over the top where people misunderstand your assertiveness for aggression. This is also an aspect where you may feel tempted to spend your money due to the fact that money might be coming in nicely this month. And while it is okay to spend every now and then, just make sure you're doing so in moderation. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your fifth house, this is going to make your kids very active. You will find them extremely energetic and they will have extremely dynamic personalities during this transit. So it is an excellent idea to get them involved in any sporting or physical activities that will enable them to utilize this active energy. Just have them do anything constructive that will allow them to express their physical selves. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your sixth house, this is going to motivate you to transform your daily life, work, and health regimen. This will give you the drive, motivation, and courage to radically change anything that hasn't been working for you health wise so you can take better care of yourself. These transformations will ultimately work out in your favor due to Mars aspecting its own sign of rulership, which is Scorpio. So don't fear any changes in this area because everything will work out in the long run. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Cancer, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your 10th house of Aries. And this is going to really accelerate your career and social standing. You will have the utmost drive, ambition, and courage to do whatever it takes to excel in your career. This will be your best transit out of all the signs because Mars gets directional strength in the 10th house. And furthermore, it is in its own multiple sign. Also, if you're up for any promotions and it's been a while since you got your last one, then chances are this transit will work out very well in your favor. I also see your reputation and social standing doing extremely well during this transit. Now, with Mars's fourth aspect to your first house, this is going to motivate you to take care and protect yourself. You will find different methods to take care of your physical body, and this can help you be more productive. This is also a time where you will feel more assertive and confident about yourself and abilities. Just make sure that this does not translate to overconfidence, arrogance, and aggression. But for the most part, you will be feeling extremely comfortable and secure within yourself, which will be a great feeling for you. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your fourth house, this tells me that you will be very proactive in the areas of your domestic life and mother. This transit is going to motivate you to make sure things are in proper order when it comes to your home and car. This will help you stay on top of things to prevent any issues that may arise in the future. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your fifth house, this tells me that your children will be going through some profound transformations that can really change them for the better. Any transformations that happen regarding fifth house matters should turn out positive. This is also a good transit where I see your investments doing quite well, as Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership, which is Scorpio. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Leo, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your ninth house of Aries. And this is going to really bring out a surge of energy and enthusiasm when it comes to any learning opportunities. This is an exciting transit to go on any long distance traveling and learn about spirituality or anything just for fun. This transit will give you the energy, drive, and motivation to travel, and you will really enjoy it. You will have a very individualistic approach when it comes to exploring the world around you. So take this time to embrace all the experiences you're getting. You will also find yourself more focused and determined in your higher education studies. And relationships with the father and teachers should go well during this time. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your 12th house, this can cause some sleep disturbances, which can possibly be due to all the traveling you might be doing with Mars being in your ninth house. So make sure you get enough proper rest so you can feel energized while traveling if that's your plan. But this fourth aspect will definitely motivate and inspire you to learn more about spirituality, which can really broaden your mind and perspective. So don't miss out on any of these opportunities. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your third house of younger siblings, this tells me that there can be some heated discussions, but for the most part, because Mars is in its own sign of rulership and it's aspecting the third house, this tells me that you will be protected from any major mishaps related to younger siblings. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your fourth house, this tells me that there could be some changes that affect your mother, domestic life, real estate, and possibly even your vehicles. But any changes that do happen related to your fourth house matters will ultimately be positive. Remember, Mars will be aspecting its own sign of rulership, which is Scorpio, so it always protects a particular house. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Virgo, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your eighth house of Aries. And this is going to open up opportunities to go deep within and learn about any metaphysical subjects that may interest you. Your drive and ambition will be best utilized in these subjects, so take advantage of any learning opportunities that come to you during this transit. This is also an excellent transit for studying psychology and self-analysis if that's what interests you more. There can also be a sudden increase in your joint assets if you're married, and or your in-laws might actually be doing well in this transit. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your 11th house, this is going to encourage healthy debates and discussions among your older siblings, friends, and people from your large groups and organizations that you're involved in. Use this transit to resolve any conflicts in a rational and reasonable manner. Though Mars' aspect can sometimes trigger aggression, this aggression will actually be used towards something that's constructive when it comes to discussions regarding the people related to your 11th house. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your second house, this is going to make you more assertive and confident with your speech and communication. But please be careful not to come across too aggressive or harsh, as things can be misinterpreted if you're not speaking in a proper tone. There can be some minor conflicts within the family, but this will just give you an opportunity to see things from a different point of view. It won't be anything drastically negative. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your third house, there could be some changes that affect your younger siblings. But any changes that do happen to them will be ultimately positive, and they will be protected for the most part. Remember, Mars will be aspecting its own sign of rulership, which is Scorpio, so it always protects that particular house. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Libra, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your seventh house of Aries. And this is going to put a big emphasis on your business partnerships and relationships with your significant other. You may find that your business partners or significant others are becoming more assertive about their needs, wants, and desires. Now, this can make you feel a bit distant or aloof from them depending on how they're communicating this to you. So it is important to stand in your ground and make sure all parties are being properly respected and accounted for. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your 10th house, This is going to make you extra assertive when it comes to protecting certain aspects of your career and reputation. This will give you the energy, drive, and ambition to ensure that you are protecting yourself from any issues that may arise in your career. And for the most part, there won't be any issues with this transit regarding your career. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your first house, this tells me that you yourself might also feel assertive, and this can be due to your partner's demands. It's quite possible that their energy is rubbing off on you, which in turn can make you feel a bit defensive. Once again, it is important for you and your partner to have mutual respect for one another to ensure all needs are respected and met. Also, make sure you take proper care of your physical health at this time. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your second house, this tells me that there can be some transformations and changes around your family and finances. But because Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership, these transformations and changes should be positive for the most part. So keep all of this in mind as Mars transits your seventh house of Aries. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Scorpio, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your sixth house of Aries. And this is going to really give you the motivation, drive, and ambition to take care of your health. Health matters are going to drastically change and get better for you with this transit. So if you were previously sick before, then this transit will give you the vitality and ability to get better. It's possible that you will get the proper medical advice or treatment, which can improve your situation. This is also a transit where I see your ability to deal with any workplace issues regarding coworkers and employees. These will work out very nicely in your favor. You won't have to put in too much effort in navigating these issues as Mars does extremely well in the sixth house. Furthermore, it's also in its own multiple sign. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your ninth house, this is going to make you assert your spiritual beliefs and values very strongly. You will feel quite confident about certain belief systems, and while this is a very good thing, just make sure you're not being so dominating to a point where you isolate other people about this. This is also a transit where I see you staying on top of things when it comes to your higher education and learning. And you will be very protective in matters related to your education, teachers, and even your father, as you will be taking these things extremely seriously. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your 12th house, this tells me that you can have some sleep issues throughout the night. So make sure you're getting enough proper physical rest. This can also be a time of solitude and great self-reflection. Therefore, if you want some alone time, don't be afraid to seek and pursue this. This will actually help you become more focused and relaxed in the long run. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your first house, this tells me that you yourself may go through some change and transformation that can alter the way you view the world around you. However, because Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership, this tells me that any transformation or change you go through will be for your betterment and good. So don't fear any changes that may happen. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Sagittarius, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your fifth house of Aries. And this is going to really open up your analytical and logical thought process. You will find yourself becoming more calculative in your decision making, which can be extremely beneficial and helpful to you. This is also a time where I see you and your children becoming super active together. For the most part, your children are going to have a lot of drive, energy, and ambition, and their energy may end up rubbing off on you, and this will be a good thing. Your children will be doing quite well with this transit. Just make sure they're not overly hyper or excessive in their behavior. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your eighth house, this tells me that you have a possibility of developing an interest in areas related to psychology, occult sciences, and even metaphysical studies such as astrology and numerology. This aspect will enable you to really focus on these areas, and this will give you a much deeper understanding about yourself and the world around you. So embrace any knowledge that comes your way. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your 11th house, this tells me that there will be a lot of involvement when it comes to your older siblings, friends, and large groups and organizations. There could be a need to assert yourself in these areas, or this can even mean a need for them to assert themselves as well. In either case, it will be important to ensure that any communication and interaction is done in a respectful and tactful manner. This will give you better chances of having your needs met as well as having their needs met. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your 12th house, this tells me that there will be a transformative experience regarding your past issues, which can bring a healing to you. Even though it may seem difficult, these changes will be positive because Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership. So don't fear any changes that you're going through because it'll all work out in the end. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Capricorn, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your fourth house of Aries. And this is going to put a big emphasis on your domestic life, mother, and things related to your real estate, property, and even vehicles. This is going to prompt you to take specific actions when it comes to resolving any conflicts within the home. And you will be very assertive, initiative, and dynamic in this approach. However, just be careful not to come across domineering or aggressive, as this can actually backfire on you. But if you tactfully address these issues, then you will definitely come out on the winning end. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your seventh house, this tells me that you will play a big role when it comes to protecting your relationships with either business partners and or significant others. However, you do have to be careful that you don't come across too controlling in these relationships. Make sure you make your intentions well known and clear so that your partners understand where you're coming from. And give your partners the opportunity to make their own choices, as this will help the dynamics in your situation. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your 10th house, this tells me that you'll be spending a lot of time and energy when it comes to focusing on your career, reputation, and social standing. Just make sure you don't go into overdrive to a point where you burn yourself out. Give yourself time to focus on other areas of your life, as this can really benefit you in terms of having a well-balanced life. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your 11th house, this tells me that there will be some changes and transformation regarding your involvement in any large groups, organizations, as well as your older siblings and friends. But any transformations or changes that do occur will ultimately be positive. Remember, Mars is aspecting its own sign of Scorpio, so you should be protected from anything that's majorly negative. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Aquarius, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your third house of Aries. And this is going to give you tremendous drive, willpower, energy like you've never had before. You're going to have the motivation and ambition to really get things done and achieve your goals. So if there are things that you've been putting off, then this month and transit will be an excellent opportunity for you to get things done. This is also a transit where I see protection around your relationships with your younger siblings. Even though Mars in the third house can cause some disagreements and aggression, you will still have an opportunity to resolve conflicts in a healthy way so that you all can move forward. And if you're thinking about publishing any short stories or articles, then this transit has the potential to help you get things done. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your sixth house, this tells me that you're going to be extremely proactive and protective when it comes to taking care of your health and well-being, as well as when it comes to dealing with any issues regarding your coworkers and employees. And the good news is that you will be able to deal with any issues with great confidence and assertiveness. This aspect will protect you from any major problems, but you have to be careful not to come across too domineering in your workplace, because that can actually backfire on you. Then, with Mars' seventh aspect to your ninth house, this tells me that there will be a big emphasis and focus on your father, teachers, and spiritual beliefs, as well as any higher education courses you are taking. You will find yourself being extremely focused and driven when it comes to working on any higher education courses, and this will help you get things done in the most efficient and effective manner possible. Just make sure you carve out time for other activities so you don't feel burned out. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your 10th house, this tells me that there will be some changes and transformations regarding your career, workplace, social standing, and reputation. But because Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership here, this will result in positive changes, which can change your life for the better. So don't worry about the changes that do occur. Just let it happen and know that everything is happening the best. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Pisces, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your second house of Aries. And this is going to really make you speak whatever it is that's on your mind. This is a transit where I don't see any of you guys holding back. And while it is extremely good to be assertive and speak what's on your mind, just be careful that you don't come across too harsh or aggressive where your words get misinterpreted based on your tone. This is also a transit where I do see you taking charge when it comes to your finances. You're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that your financial situation is in order. However, because it is Mars transiting in the second house, there can be some temptations to spend money as you get it. So just be careful that you're not overdoing this. Now, with Mars's fourth aspect to your fifth house, this tells me that you're going to be extremely proactive and protective when it comes to matters of your children and investments. You're going to exercise caution and care when it comes to taking care of your children and investments. And this is going to make you feel more secure about things in your life. However, just make sure you're not coming across too overbearing with your children, as this aspect can sometimes tempt you to control certain aspects regarding your children. Then with Mars' seventh aspect to your eighth house, this tells me that matters related to your joint assets and in-laws will become a big focus point at this time. You're going to be very attentive when it comes to dealing with your joint assets and in-laws, and this will help you establish clear boundaries and mutual respect with one another. Just be careful that you're not becoming too controlling in this area. This is also a great time for studying any metaphysical or occult sciences. And if these areas don't interest you, then psychology and self-analysis will somehow play a role with this aspect. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your ninth house, this tells me that there will be some changes and transformation surrounding your father, teachers, higher education courses, as well as your spiritual beliefs. Something about these areas are changing in a profound way, but because Mars is aspecting its own sign of rulership here, these changes will ultimately be positive and benefit you in the long run. So don't fear any changes that come your way, because these changes will only help you. So just embrace them. So this is what I wanted to cover regarding Mars's transit into Aries that's coming up from June 1st of 2024 till July 12th of 2024 for all the 12 ascendants and moon signs. I hope you guys got something out of this. And if you found this video to be useful, please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. Doing so will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm so this video can reach a vast audience. Also, if you're new to my channel and would like to see similar videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on that bell notification. And if you would like to know more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer, then please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.